Okay, I can finally talk about fucking ostriches. Let me tell you
You can
about
talk
my
about
search.
doing what to ostriches?
No.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dicer, and I'm joined as always by Jonathan Watkins.
Hello.
And Danae Hughes. We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well.
Jonathan, your hair looks red today.
That's true.
It's okay. So I think it's just because of my light, but I had two bulbs out for like the last 4 months.
Okay.
And,
so are you telling me that your hair is actually red?
No, it's not red.
Oh.
I think it's the light reflecting off of it. No, it's not red at all. It's super dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've seen it?
I know.
In person?
I know. You're on my shirt today. I can see right here, according to your image on my Behind the Sins podcast
I don't know.
shirt.
I definitely didn't dye it.
You look really ginger.
I will say I used to get red hair in my goatee, but now it's mostly gray. So
Hair color is interesting how it changes and evolves over time.
I'm taking a screenshot. I need you to see this.
Yeah,
I can see it.
It really does look.
I agree with you. It absolutely does, but I guarantee you it's not. I think it's just I have more light in my room.
Here's what's amazing. Here's what I find amazing.
I could be wrong.
We've been doing outtakes for an hour, right? 60 minutes. We've just been hanging out and talking. Danae waits till the show's officially started to notice that Jonathan has red hair and just bring it up.
But I don't have red hair.
You do. You have red hair.
Today you do. Today you do.
I do have green eyes occasionally.
Okay, wait. Occasionally is a choice?
Well, because they're hazel, so they...
Mine too.
Depending on how they reflect and all that. Yep.
You know this, Danae. You've told me my eyes are colors that they definitely aren't, but it's because they're hazel and they've got all those shades in them.
But when I was younger, they were darker brown. But somehow they, I don't know if that's, maybe they were always hazel and I just it was more typically brown. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes. Well, it's good we're covering all the important stuff first. Let's go ahead and get into the actual point of the show.
To those of you who are new listeners, welcome.
Welcome to
God, it really
exactly
does
what
look
we
red,
do
but
every single week.
It's definitely the light. Because it's dark right there.
Hey, when you watch the show live, you'll get to see this in person.
That's right. Starting in May.
Hey, thanks for all the cool, fun feedback about that, too.
I am. Just to fuck with you, though, whenever I see you guys again, I'm going to make sure I dye my hair red.
Do it.
You should.
Do it.
We got a lot of positive feedback about going live. So join us on Patreon, patreon.com/CinemaSins.
In fact,
at the $10 and above, that's the peeper level and above. And then you can have access to cool live video hangouts. And we'll do that every single week.
I think Barrett said something like things are going to get naughty or something. I don't.
Every single week that we can. Oh. There might be sometimes we have to change up our scheduling, but for the most part, it'll be every Friday at 11 a.m. Central.
It's going to be great when that first Friday in May we can't do it.
Don't say that. No, now that you said it, no, hold on. I'm going to go look at the schedule.
While Danae's doing that, I'll go ahead and transition us to the actual show. Let's do the SinSide Scoop.
What's he building in there?
I've got a secret.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sinning them, how we felt about the stuff we are sinning in general. Kicking it off with commercial sins. Secret Kicker is the advertisement this week, which is the deodorant advertisement about the female field goal kicker.
I mean,
this is definitely one I had never seen.
I think I remember this one.
I don't.
But I don't know.
That shouldn't be a surprise, though. Basically, commercials, I turn into Danae. I'm like, never seen it.
I don't. Yeah. Chris says the Secret Kicker ad does one of those things where they're trying to empower women, but nearly backfires due to the presentation. The idea that two women could somehow play in secret. That's funny. On a football team without anyone knowing is stupid. Plus, the score dictates that they would have had to have kicked previously in the game unless they were last-second replacements or something, but even last-second replacements would be known. After the winning kick, every single fan in the stadium stops dead in their tracks when the women pull off their helmets. I feel like this would only happen if they pulled their helmets off to reveal that they are Cardi B and J-Lo. That would be shocking. And why do they pull their helmets off at the end? They know this is going to be such a huge surprise. They can't wait to see the looks on all the fans' stupid faces. Those fans take forever to decide they're finally okay with women kicking field goals, which, as I said, nearly takes away from the message.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Also, it has nothing to do with deodorant, other than, stretching it very, very thin.
This is one of those commercials that you see and then you tell it to someone and they're like, well, what was the commercial for? You're like, I have no idea.
This is not, I can assure you, this is not one of those commercials you see and then tell someone about. This commercial is so terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It doesn't even get to that point. Does anybody have any strong deodorant opinions? Danae, you wearing deodorant these days?
Okay, this is my new favorite thing on the show. Since adding commercial sins, I love your questions about it. Like, what was it last week? Like, does anyone have any strong opinions on
laundry detergent?
Laundry detergent.
I think I have. I don't have strong opinions. I'm trying to even think of what I have. I mean, I think I have like a degree, some maybe Axe. I think I just pick whatever makes sense at the time, whatever's on sale.
Yeah, I definitely do Arm & Hammer.
I will say, like, my wife has to. I mean, there are like, if you're gonna do like strong, I will say my wife has to do things because of allergies. She's got to do like the what do they call it? It's like there's no color basically. Like I can't remember what. There's something about a dye that. So that's the only probably strong opinion in our house. I mean, if that's even an opinion, I don't care as long as I don't smell.
Yeah, that's right.
And Aaron, you don't use deodorant, right?
That is one of the things I do use, actually.
Oh, that's what it's soap.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. I just mixed my stuff.
Danae went for a while without using deodorant.
I did. Yeah, it was an experiment that I actually really enjoyed. I don't know if people around me did, but I certainly did. Because I have so many bohemian, earth conscious conversations with people and like body conscious conversations, there was a lot of chat about deodorant being like an antiperspirant and how that's really bad for your body, and aluminum, and does this cause breast cancer? Like I've gone through all these conversations with people who, whether you think it's conspiracy or founded science or whatever. So I've always been really self-conscious of what deodorants are options, and I tried a lot of them. So I have a lot of deodorant opinions. I could talk about deodorant for way too long. But here's the thing. I also can hear eyes rolling of every listener. So I'm like trying to be extra careful right now because I'm like,
my problem, I swear to God, the older I get, I'm losing my sense of smell. And so I don't even know how much to put on because I can't smell myself. So I'm just like, God. I know my wife would say something, so I'm at least I have her.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I am testing out, and I have been testing out for about 8 months now, Lume, which is a different style of deodorant. And
I've heard of that.
I really like it. It works super, super well for me, and the ingredients are good, and it's an interesting story. Their website is kind of an interesting read too. If you are concerned about deodorant, I would recommend looking it up. They have a clinical testing page on their website. And there's this guy that they call I'm not even kidding, the odor guru, who has apparently been like smelling people's armpits and testing deodorant for like 20 some years. And there's this video of him and just like the freeze frame of his face. It's just like, yeah, that's the guy that's been sniffing pits for a long time.
That's it. Yeah, I always wonder that. Like, how do they test these?
Yeah,
like they've got somebody that's just smelling, right?
Yeah. Well, to do like the tests for Lume, they had people like stop wearing deodorant for a specific amount of time and then start wearing the deodorant, and then they just tested like what would happen after a certain length of time. Anyway, it's a different style of deodorant. It's like a liquid essentially that you put on.
Would you rather be the person smelling armpits or the person cleaning up the booths at strip clubs?
Did you say boobs or boots?
Boobs.
Oh, I thought you said boobs too. I'm like,
what?
They have boob cleaners at strip clubs?
Because all of a sudden I'm like,
well,
that's kind of a no-brainer, right?
It's
just like you just lift up the skin flap and like wipe all the glitter out from underneath.
the underboob. It's the underboob is the key. The underboob is the key.
Jeez. Yeah.
I just want to know. I just want to know with it. What did they call him? The odor person,
Guru.
The odor guru. Why didn't they go with like the smellier instead of like sommelier, like a smellier?
Yeah.
Are you a cologne person, Aaron?
You know, I have occasionally put cologne on, but it's not something I do most days. It seems like a waste of money overall.
Yeah, I think so too. I did it for like, oh my God, that scared the crap out of me. I did it for like 10 years or something, and then I just kind of quit.
Yeah.
This is the guy?
Yeah, I know it's very visual, but I
was going to say, Danae, we are not doing a visual show, and even when we do, we do a visual show, we have to remember the podcast audience. Danae's putting stuff up on our screen now.
If Barry Druitt is listening, I did not mean he was scary. I just meant that picture popping up out of nowhere got me. That'd be great if Barry was listening.
It would be great.
He's one of our biggest fans.
Let's talk about the Sins video. What were some of your favorite Sins today?
I just wrote down the one that's like that ends with, then they'd have never gotten this chance for the big reveal after 3 fucking times, where they could have ended sexism as we know it. I just thought that was kind of funny. What about you guys?
I had that one too. I'm half expecting that dude from the last Boy Scout to start shooting up the place. And what's funny about that, or sad, is that I know that character's name is Billy Cole. Because I've seen that movie way too many times.
I find it impressive. I don't know why it would be sad. I always find that impressive.
I don't know why that dude's name's Billy Cole. I'm terrible with character names. Tension is High at Milk Toast Stadium was another one.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked. It'll be against every rule imaginable, but everyone will accept it because it's such a great story. That was really fun.
Yes, that's how sports works. The only one that you guys didn't mention that I had down was if you did this in SimCity, you'd be thrown out as mayor, which I thought was great. I
did think it was interesting. When did this commercial come out?
I don't know. I have no idea. I am not familiar with this commercial at all.
I wanted to make be one of those like annoying like comments about, because they mentioned ESPN covering it, and he says Skip Bayless's rant, and I was like, Skip Bayless hasn't been on ESPN for about 6 years now.
Yeah, I would have no idea. I don't know that I mentioned it was a Atkinson script. Chris wrote this one, so in case you were wondering about the writer.
Well, considering I read
Chris
his
is totally going to
comments,
listen to this episode too and give me shit about saying that.
I know.
Sorry, Chris.
I know you gave his thoughts. I just wanted to make sure that
it was
that
more
we actually
obvious.
said it.
Yeah.
Let's move into TV Sins. What happened? What I missed?
I was just all of a sudden I had this envision in my mind that every now and then, like 3 more times throughout the show, Danae's just gonna pop Barry DeWitt up on the screen.
Yeah.
He's now our mascot. Let's move into the TV Sins. I think we broke Jonathan.
Oh man, I want him to be our mascot. Come on, Barry.
Come on, Barry.
Let's move into the TV Sins. Hey, guess what we're doing? We're doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier Insta-Sin.
And everyone's like, and we're surprised?
Everyone's like, duh. Knew that was coming.
Yeah.
New World Order is the episode. It was a John Aaron script.
Do you have a list?
No, I'm just trying to remember what I have
to eventually go to middle names.
Yes.
Mine's Edward, by the way.
Thank you. I will need to know middle names of everybody eventually.
Yeah. And yes, everybody, my initials are Jew. Congratulations for figuring that out.
So does that mean that you'll have to start using my first name then?
Yeah, I think so.
Which is Hanukkah.
No.
That doesn't even make sense.
No.
Which is Hannah. I don't know.
Nope.
Which is Rebecca.
Nope.
Alexis.
This is a good thing to do.
You know, it's
Aaron.
really honestly
Portia.
Yes.
Honestly,
Portia.
it is a first guess first name. Like it is like literally the name you should guess first for a female born around the time that the name was.
Elizabeth.
I was born in the early 1800s. Yes, I'm a vampire. So think about it like that.
Jonathan and I writing on this one. How do we feel about this show, guys? Specifically the first episode. Danae, I'm going to let your positivity kick us off. I know you're just in love with this show. So,
do you hate it though?
No, I don't think she hates it.
I don't hate it. I clearly am more of a magic user person, which shouldn't be a surprise, I guess.
You don't like boys.
Boys suck.
Sometimes
they smell.
No, it's interesting because I'm just the way that I'm built. the stories that I like, the things I enjoy watching are magical stuff. When there's fighting and on the screen, I don't usually get too into it, and I don't usually think about like, oh, this is well choreographed. But I'm starting to do that more. So my very first instinct was like, man, I'm bored. I'm bored with this. This is something that you watch.
Is fascinating.
If you're like a fan of the content, and I guess I'm not really a fan of this story. I guess I just kind of don't want to know about this, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. And then I had to stop myself and go, wait, hold on. Think about how this is made and how this is being produced, and in that way I can really like enjoy it. But I'm bored watching this one.
I think action shows. I think in television, I think action shows might be the hardest things to pull off. I don't know why that is either. I don't know if, like you're saying, after a while it just gets old. Like you keep like if you're watching like the A-Team for 5 years, eventually it's like, oh, they're doing the same thing every week. And
and when Jonathan says the A-Team, he actually means the TV show The A-Team, not Barrett, Jeremy, and Chris.
Having to watch them in action scenes every day is
it does. It just gets boring.
MacGyver, so I'm not confusing anybody. We'll throw that show out there. But anyways, but I was actually, that was one thing about this show that got me from the get-go. That opening action scene, as ridiculous as it gets, I loved.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not something that I've seen on TV, but I think it's like I've come to like expect it maybe from Marvel, so I didn't think about it.
See,
I didn't think about how amazing that is, because I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. This is so. And then the reaction of everyone being like flipping out about how great it was, I thought, I really am thinking about this the wrong way. That really was not something you normally see in TV. And it's in the first like 10 minutes. And it's just this action-packed, crazy bonkers, massive budget flex, and it was cool to watch. So
I would argue
had to
it's
admit
almost, I would argue I would put it in with a lot of the action scenes in the movies too. I mean, I thought it was just really good.
I also didn't expect, like, once I let myself kind of like, okay, think about the story. What story are they telling? Because I just shut off my happy like blah 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 blah, and I'm like, no, like, what's happening here? So you've got these people that reject you've got Sam, who's rejected the shield, and then the shield is being passed off to someone else, and then you've got this kind of a conversation about race in America at the same time. And then you've got Bucky coming back in, and then there's a sprinkling in of other characters that's starting. I don't know. It just, part of me is like, oh yeah, I really don't remember a lot of any of this. If I felt out of place with WandaVision, it's like magnified with Winter Soldier. Falcon Boy.
Winter Falcon Boy, that is the official name of the TV show. Jonathan, I know you were heading into something, but I will say for you, Danae, because you bring that up, there is I forget what it's called. It's either called Legends or Heroes or something like that on Disney Plus. That is a really cool, just like 6-7 minute like clip catch up on the main characters in the MCU. And they did one for Wanda and Vision before WandaVision, and there's one up now for Bucky and
for Winter Falcon Boy.
For Winter Falcon Boys now. And I found those nice, even though I have watched the movies and I think I kind of generally know these characters, like re-seeing some of those scenes and like where they started and origins. Like I found those really nice, and that's just on Disney Plus.
That's good.
So,
that's good. I should do that. I was actually reading about that on a blog, and I totally forgot about it, that they do. There was one where it was like what these characters have been doing in between this movie and this show. Is that what it is?
No, that's
okay. There's other content that I was being told about that's like a little catch up of here's what they were doing in between here and here, where you can kind of see what they've been up to, which gives you even more context. So
I don't know I haven't heard of that. That would seem to be a big deal if they're making extra content. I think this person may have miscommunicated what the Legends show is. They have to be thinking about Legends. They have to be thinking about Marvel Studios Legends, but I don't think that adds any like between context. It's just
there's also a title I saw pop up called Falcon Wintering His Soldier. I don't know.
No. That is definitely not.
That had anything to do with this?
No. Marvel Studios Legends is basically like a long previously on, but the previously on is all the stuff that happened during the movies. So anyhow, it's good. I think it's valuable stuff. Jonathan, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, just take this, though, with a grain. I mean, kind of like Janae was saying, she's really into the magic stuff. The most interesting storylines to me in the MCU movies so far has been the Captain America stuff. That's been, even though that's never been one of my favorite comics, but I just like those movies. I don't rewatch a lot of MCU movies, but I've seen Winter Soldier like 20 times. Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU movie. So I'm probably this is probably just more in my wheelhouse.
Sure.
So with that being said, I think they're nailing it. I'm also a sucker. I love conspiracy stuff and like, militia groups that are trying to counteract what the government's doing and all this shit. That stuff like that, I'm just a sucker for. And all that kind of like subterfuge and spy shit and stuff like that. That's why I'm a huge Bond fan and all that. So I'm really liking it. I love Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie. I think they play really well off each other. It's really fun to see them in a storyline together. Not in this episode, but in future episodes, one of my all-time favorite Marvel villains comes back. So that's really exciting for me. And this is the John Walker storyline, who we don't see him till the very end of the episode. That's one of my all-time favorite comic storylines, which is from the late 80s in Captain America, when Captain America decided to step down. So everything about this was just like, this is going to be your shit, Jonathan. And so far it absolutely is. I totally get what Danae's saying, though. If it's not your bag, I mean, it's not, I get it. The magic stuff has never really been my bag. I did enjoy WandaVision, but that's never really been, like, I never got into Doctor Strange and stuff like that. So I totally get it.
I think I'm loving it. I think I love WandaVision more. I
think that's probably a better show.
For me, it scratches more of my like creativity itches. This is pretty much a straightforward action story, which is what a lot of people want. In fact, a lot of people, that's what they didn't like about WandaVision, was it was so weird and different. But again, we are in this situation again now where I've seen 4 of these episodes, but I'm trying to keep it,
I've only seen 3. I haven't seen today's yet.
Locked into the first episode. And so what I will say from that first episode that I loved was it's very clear right off the bat they are not going to shy away from the racial conversation, which I really love, and that's going to be a big, big point of this show. And I loved that. And the other thing about the first episode that I would mention is the action, which we already kind of covered, and just how much they're willing to put on the screen. And I really liked that. So, and it had that thing where Don Cheadle comes in, and it's like, how cool is this universe where you can just bring Don Cheadle in for a few minutes?
I know.
And
a lot of people responded to that. That point too, which I thought was great. That kind of was universal. I am curious though. Well, I think the one thing I'm worried about is that this only has 6 episodes, and
2 left.
And from what I understand, everybody's saying this is going to be just kind of a one shot, and I don't know how they're going to wrap all this up. I hope they do. I don't know, but I could be wrong. But I hope I am. But also, I don't know what the talk on this one is. I just feel like it may be because WandaVision was first. But WandaVision, I just felt like there was so much social media chatter about that show. And even though Disney Plus is saying that this is actually, I think, getting more viewers, which we can't prove that. They're
definitely saying that. They're saying it's the most watched thing ever on Disney Plus.
Yeah. But I don't see, I personally don't see anyone really talking about it. So I don't know if it's interesting to me.
I definitely feel like I saw more WandaVision memes. In that kind of thing, but I'm still seeing some Falcon and the Winter Soldier memes pop up and different things.
But I mean, and I'll wait till the final episode to make that decision. But yes, personally, I think WandaVision's probably the better show. I'm not arguing that.
Yeah, definitely have to give it.
I'm just saying that I just really like this one. But this just feels like it's kind of like Knives Out. Like, I was never not going to like Knives Out.
Right.
Like, it would have taken, so I don't even feel like I can give somebody, like you with Pixar.
Right, exactly.
There's just certain things. I just don't know that Star Trek for me, whatever, but this is one of those things.
Nice.
So
let's get into the sins.
Okay, I just found it.
Okay, what is it?
Okay.
I thought you were on Discord.
Ooh, no, I've been
she's looking for whatever that other person was talking about.
Yeah, so
Oh yeah.
I was looking at something for an upcoming episode, so I'm not going to tell you how I got here, but I was reading Den of Geeks, denofgeek.com website.
Yeah.
It says according to Marvel's Avengers Infinity War Prelude, a movie tie-in comic that showed what everyone was doing before the movie jumped off.
Oh, a comic. So not a...
So it wasn't... It's not visual content. That's where I was wrong. But there is content out there that you can find that is a tie-in that gives more context.
Nice. So there's a comic that might do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't suggest stuff to Aaron that he has to read.
Aaron read the comic that a lot of WandaVision was based on. Imagine that.
House of M.
Yeah, I actually went in and read that.
Yeah, you brought it up on Beyond the Suns.
Yeah. Danae, you get to start us off since you didn't write on this one.
Super ready for that. I really like that you guys went after Red Wing and the whole engage thing a couple times.
That was Aaron.
I thought that was a really good thing to point out. Not only that it shouldn't be a verbal command, but then even just it kind of starting off with how did you call it? The genital laser?
I will tell you, originally I wrote that as vagina laser. And then I didn't want to gender Red Wing unnecessarily, and so I went with genital laser. So yes, just so you know.
There you go. I love the MCU and on Sin. But my absolute favorite is the tiger photos one, where the lead-in is about tiger photos, making it weird for online dating. And the sin is, your dad laments that dating apps are full of tiger photos.
It's such a weird thing to say at that point. He just talked about the tiger photos, and she's like, yeah, my dad feels the same way.
We give a sin off, but that storyline's another thing I'm digging about this. I love how they're tackling Bucky's.
Yeah, sure.
They're not shying away from that.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, totally. Jonathan, what about you?
I had a couple of those, but I also I really liked Aaron's whole thing about I'm just trying to figure out the plan here with that opening action sequence, because there is some ridiculous stuff there. Like they're going from helicopter to helicopter.
To do? How are they that prepared?
Yeah.
Like.
That's a James Bond thing. That's like you went through all that stuff just to show us a cool helicopter.
We
just had to see those
helicopters.
We just had to see those outfits and how they could, glide around. Like that was a visual that they wanted.
The flying squirrel sequence, as they call it.
You hijacked a plane and shot the pilot. Like, where is all the wingsuits and helicopters coming in? Like, what does that have to do with your plan?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see them switching to like maybe one other plane just because they thought they couldn't get away with the plane.
Maybe one contingency plan. Yeah, maybe.
But they had an alternate just in case that one got blown up, and it was nuts. Ooh, we both had stuff here, but I think Aaron decided to do his full name, so I really loved the James Buchanan Barnes would be excellent at TV sets.
Yeah.
And then just Aaron going through, he really got into how they were fucking up Battleship, and they weren't. It was electronic, but they weren't doing that. And
listen, I had electronic Battleship. The whole point of electronic Battleship was it made the noises. That was the whole point.
That one could have been broken, or they didn't have batteries.
But then they were playing it completely wrong. But then
you went even deeper though. Like they weren't. How was he missing? She was hitting. He only had 2 in the one Battleship. Yeah. I mean, like how hard would that have been to put like a third thing in there?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Was that it? Did you have any others you wanted to mention?
Yeah, no, that was it.
This show is about a Cap successor, not an Iron Man.
That was great.
I enjoyed writing that one. We've seen a lot of stories on the dangers of alcohol, but here we have a situation where going to get a drink would have saved a guy's life. Just a really fun observation. Sleeping on a hardwood floor. I said hardwood. Liked that.
We got called out on that one a little bit.
Yeah,
apparently
I had
there was
some of that. Now listen, this is one of the things I had in the comment section. But let's just talk about it now because honestly, I actually have several comments. So unlike me, but yes, several times people were like, "Well, Bucky has been shown to sleep on a hardwood floor. He does that," and I'm like. Still doesn't make sleeping on a hardwood floor not a sin. Like how? Just because it doesn't matter that that's a Bucky thing. It's still a sin. Like what are you even complaining about? And it's interesting because it boils down to something we wrestle with and we try to balance when we do these things, which is over explaining the joke and like how much do we think about what's going to be in the comments and try to diffuse that ahead of time. Like we could have written that sin. Yes, we know Bucky sleeps on hardwood floors, but sleeping on hardwood floors will always be a sin. But then you're neutering the joke, right? Like so there's just you kind of have to balance like the need to diffuse potential misunderstandings.
sometimes we do that.
Oh, of
we
course.
over-explain because it works for comedic purposes.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
we just don't try to understand us. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is it's still a sin. It doesn't matter that Bucky Bucky
I
does
think
that.
the only thing we're not necessarily concerned, but we don't want to be wrong. Like we don't want to be factually incorrect about it. So those are the things like when we do research and stuff like that. But yeah, something like this. I mean, you're just sending the fact that we don't care why he's sleeping on the hardwood floor.
Correct. It's a sin. Let's see. Perhaps remove the part of your profile that reads former hitman for Hydra, but now I say hell no to that. And the HMU at the end just cracks me up.
That was a combo.
Yeah, it was.
That one cracks me up.
I know. Let me try this one. It's a TV show and it's fiction, so quit asking dumb questions because you're ruining TV shows. And I like the other narrator better anyway. How am I doing? And yes, I was absolutely fishing for compliments, and I received many of them in the comments. So thank you. Appreciate that very much.
Oh God.
All right, let's move on to
the power that you have.
It was really nice. There were several people in the comments who were just like, actually, I've totally gotten used to your voice and I love it now. I was like, yep, that's what I needed to hear. Thank you.
You've tortured me long enough. I feel better. Thank you.
Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Speaking of Disney Plus debuts, the first episode was called Game On. And this was also a
yeah, you guys are busy this week.
Aaronkin's script.
Just with TV Sins. I didn't have anything to do with CinemaSins this week.
Yeah. What did you think of this show? Did you watch the first episode of this?
Yeah, I was the shadow.
Because you were shadowing it, right? Yeah. So let's get some thoughts on this. Jonathan, what were some of your thoughts on?
I mean, I didn't think anything going in because you had mentioned there was some. I mean, the reason partly why we decided to do it is because it's a new show. We could insta-send the pilot, and you had said there was some pretty positive word about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that going in. And I think it was better than I thought it would be. I don't know that like I love it or anything, but it's watchable. I did watch the second episode. I think I maybe like that a little less, but I'm probably gonna. I think it's like 10 episodes or something, so I might finish it. I don't know that I'm gonna go out of my way to watch it every week. I don't mean to give away, but yeah, we're not insta-sending the whole thing. If anyone was curious.
Correct. We were just doing the pilot on this one. Although things can always change.
And based on the views so far, I don't think any of you care. So
fair enough.
But no, I'm just joking. No, it was a really fun video to work on. And like I said, we talked about the movies last week. I'm not like I have seen the movies, but I'm not like a huge fan or anything. So I think this so far at least could be better than the movies, at least more entertaining to me. But yeah, no, it was fun. I love Lauren Graham. I mean, pretty much her popping up. Yeah. And I don't know what it is. Because
is that the mom?
She's in Gilmore Girls, Parenthood.
She has a way of
awesome.
Just really giving you a sense that she's just supposed to be where she is. She's quirky, but she's straightforward.
She's like the best mom on TV, like ever, or like one of them. Like she's got to be up there as like one of the coolest moms.
She's really comfortable in that role, and it makes you feel comfortable when you watch it. You know, because I find this show to be a little uncomfortable to watch because it's just so many cliches, which was one of the things about the script. Like it was such a cliche-ridden show.
Yeah,
it's CW-esque in its paint by numbers. You know, where it's like we're going to hit all of these themes, which are real themes. There are struggling single moms and there are awkward kids at school. But then it's also just like perpetuating what I presume to be utter bullshit of a young child standing up in front of his entire school in the cafeteria to make a plead speech about joining a ragtag team of hockey people to go and do full body bashing. You know, it's just like this is insanity. And so there's part of it that's so reality, and then there's part of it that's just absolute bonkers. None of this can be real. Like you're gonna find a goalie through a video game. You know, it's just like it's so loosely put together. The only thing tying it together is the word Mighty Ducks that we recognize, right? Like,
oh, about that, I will say I like that what they're doing with the Mighty Ducks, though. I like the idea that they've become like a really popular team. and they're the villains now.
It's very similar to Cobra Kai, right? Where you turn Daniel LaRusso almost into the villain because he's become so successful and popular. And I
So I wasn't impressed with it. I don't know. I was like, what is this? Ugh.
Yeah. No, I totally get what both of you are saying. I think I'm pretty much on the same page as Jonathan. I don't love this, but I certainly did enjoy it. There's a little bit of nostalgia there. Certainly when it comes to Emilio Estevez, I really enjoy him. And so the fact that I really like the main two adult characters probably is why I'm still watching.
Emilio was nice to see back too. I don't disagree with that. I liked him as well.
The kids are all cliches. They're occasionally really funny. The kid that's doing the podcast, it's so clearly that cliche, self-deprecating friend character.
I have a podcast body. I thought was
yeah, that was.
He said that, it was so funny.
He's funny though. He's occasionally really funny. I like him. He's likable. But at the same time, I totally get what you're saying, Danae. And I think for me, I'm still in right now. And like Jonathan, I don't know that I will be for the full season, but I still want to see the episode that came out today. So that says something.
So you're saying that girl that's into like Xena and Dungeons or Magic, that's not you?
You didn't identify so much with that you're like, I have to watch this every week.
Yeah, no.
There's something too about it just being light.
Yes.
I mean, right now, I like that kind of entertainment.
Yeah.
Right? That's just something that I'm kind of more drawn to. It's also something I can watch with my daughter. And
yeah, totally.
Things like that are, positive for me these days.
Yeah.
So
we can get into the sins, Danae. You get to start again.
Get into the sins, Danae. Would you believe there is still yet one more also? Just all of the podcast ones. But the sin leading to, like 95% of podcasts ever produced just sounding bad. So the sin, as always, is podcasts.
Yeah.
I like the Minnesota accent one, hot dishes and don't you know? I thought that was something good to point out that nobody actually had one. But thankfully, like also, if you don't have actors who can do that accent well,
right?
Thank you for not.
They didn't force it. Yeah, exactly.
I appreciated the 25 sins for not a full order of tater tots. I appreciated that. Thank you.
I just completely tried in my narration to embody you, Danae, in that moment.
Yeah, this is absolutely what we were talking about on last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And then the I am Dukakis. Now, I haven't seen the reference for this. I haven't actually seen the Spartacus movie, but I've seen that done so many times that I don't understand the scene or the context or anything, but I still find it funny. So that was another one I laughed at.
Yeah. Nice. I'll go next this time. Calling this a mullet. There was definitely some crossover there. Both Jonathan and I sinned the fact that you would call his hair a mullet. And
like, does this show not know what mullets are? Like, I was so confused.
And like I said,
nobody lives in the South.
Yeah, like I said, in the sin, technically you could maybe argue that the hair in the front is a little bit shorter than the hair in the back, and that's
it's not a mullet.
Some technical term, this is a mullet, and no.
I really don't like that character. Like, not because he's an asshole, but because he's so like generic.
Yeah.
At least so far, I have not enjoyed. I don't know. I thought they could have done a little better in that regard.
I liked the interrupted "that's racist" sin. That was really fun.
Well, and that was kind of like how I was writing the sin, because like at first I was just going to do "that's racist," and I was like, actually that is kind of sweet what he's saying. So then I came up with the.
I do also want to mention in the comments, apparently YouTube put one of the ad breaks right after the "look, a werewolf," and then the ad would come on.
I saw that.
And then people were like, and I was just disappointed the ad wasn't about a werewolf.
Yeah. I saw that comment and I thought, this is so crazy, because sometimes it happens too where we'll mention something, like let's say that we mentioned deodorant and then it's a deodorant ad. And that stuff is just, they're listening.
Yeah, no werewolf ads though, unfortunately. The don't bothers, that's so terrible you might as well named him the Mighty Grogu's. That joke will never be old to me.
Yeah, I had that down.
Fun stuff. What else did you have down, Jonathan?
This is not properly respecting the power of bonies. Talking about the Zamboni. I like that you pointed out I'm getting more of a Monster House vibe than it, which was kind of funny. And I thought I guess it is enough of a pop cultural thing now. Even kids know about Pennywise and everything. But still, I agree with you. That was definitely more Monster House. Wasting perfectly mediocre cafeteria food when you could have just dropped the empty tray instead. I hate. I like every time in a movie or show when people like waste food like that, I just get a little like,
yeah. No, I'm with you. Totally with you.
Why would you do that?
The other comment I wanted to mention from this one, and I'll go ahead and do it now, is there was some request in the comments for the hot chocolate machine skip to be the skip on CinemaSins from now on.
Yes.
I can't believe I didn't write that down. That was so
I'm so
funny.
glad this is coming up because that was another one that I laughed at. I thought you guys were going to cover it, so I'm really glad that we're covering that one.
Yeah, it was just such a perfect visual representation of the skip sin. That is exactly what the skip sin is. When something is getting too personal, too serious, too, lovey-dovey, the narrator just wants to skip. And
I think that'd be so fun to do that.
I'll just say we're considering it. Let's just say that we're considering saving that clip for future CinemaSins episodes.
It's like you kind of don't want to overdo it,
right?
But like you want to save it for certain moments because the last thing you want to do is overdo the skip. But that was such a perfect. It was such a perfect representation.
I had to stop reviewing the edit because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah,
when I saw it the first
laughed,
time.
Yeah, same.
It's just it's such a perfect little like meme almost within because you could put anything in there and just the fact that you can't hear what they're saying over the chocolate machine and then it cuts back to the girl and she just kind of nods like, or whatever. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful enough. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes another appearance.
That girl reminded me of Danae.
Oh, interesting.
Same.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's an attitude there. Yeah.
Yeah. If I had a pixie cut, that would be me.
You'd be running that coffee while somebody was talking, or hot chocolate. Sorry.
I'd be like with like just the coy smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your little beanie or whatever that was.
All right, let's move into music video sins. It's back, music video sins, and it's back with one of the most talked about music videos of the last month, Lil Nax X, Montero. I don't know how much you guys want to get into this, but I kind of love this song, and in pretty much it's only in a message kind of personal meaning kind of a way. Like the song itself is a fine song, but it's not like I dig it sonically as much as I dig it attitudinally, so to speak. So
no, that's fair. I think I think the video is really interesting, especially visually, and so I always dig when videos try to do different stuff and try to go for that, try to be a little controversial. I think that's fun. But it's so funny. I saw all the controversy before I watched the video because I didn't write on this, and that was one of those moments where I'm like, really? Like, this is what we're getting all hot and bothered about. But maybe that's because I didn't see the video beforehand. I don't know. But I think it's a cool video. I think it's fun. The song, even for Lil Nas X, I think he's had better songs. But I know what you're saying, message-wise and all that. I mean, obviously there's something there.
The video, okay, so when I give in to my old man tendencies, get off my lawn tendencies about some of the sexually explicit videos that we've talked about, where it's just like, why are you doing this? Like, I get it, you can twerk. Like, I get it, you can show skin. Like, but why? Why are you? What is
it's not related to what you're singing about.
Thank you. That's what I'm
you're
talking.
You're singing about gardening. Why are you twerking?
In this,
look,
this
you gotta have fun while you're gardening.
Sure,
Gardening is very boring.
Totally get it. But let me just put this video out as an example of how to do it right. This is a video that uses sexuality with a point, with a message. And for a very specific person. And you can see Lil Nas X, and he's talked about it, but you can see him personally, literally in the context of the video, dealing with his demons, like dealing with some of what he's had to deal with growing up, with his sexuality and understanding who he is. And like, it's just, I was blown away by the metaphorical representations here. I know it's nothing super complex. A lot of it's right there on the surface, but a lot of it is kind of underneath. That stuff with the color scheme in the courtroom where he's wearing blue and pink, just the idea of dealing with gender and what that means to him and just what's expected of him and being judged for those things. The idea of taking back, this idea of going to hell for who he is and embracing who he is. Like, it's just, I don't know. I was really impressed with just a lot of the stuff he's doing here.
Yeah, I was going off what you're saying, though. The one thing I thought about when I was watching this video is I thought back to Old Time Road. Is it Old Time Road? Or Old Town Road? What was that?
I think it's Old Town Road, yeah. But
Old Town Road. Yeah, I mean, that's fun, but it also, this was also one of those things where you're like, it kind of felt gimmicky and, all that kind of stuff. But now that I've listened to more of his stuff, it doesn't seem gimmicky to me anymore. I mean, this guy's like, he kind of reminds me of like Prince.
Definitely,
because he's
certainly.
just... they're not similar in musical style
Correct.
or anything, but it's
or
just
even talent. Like, I know some people would come back with the talent thing. But
exactly, but it's just expressing who they are, right?
Right.
They just they've got their, I don't know. There's just something about that's very, or even Madonna or
sure,
Lady Gaga. I mean, whoever you want to throw in that mix. I think he's a much bigger and better artist than I initially gave him credit for, even not really thinking this song is that great. And I don't think all of Prince's songs are great, but they're always interesting. There's always something going on that, draws me to them. And that's kind of what I feel like with him now.
I have something I want to read from him. Danae, do you want to give some thoughts on the video itself before we get into this? I wasn't sure what, kind of you wanted to say about it.
No, I think you guys covered a lot.
By the way, the devil in this movie reminded me so much of Danae, the devil in the video. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Well, here's something I think people know. I think people know this or notice this, but he plays every single role in this video. It's all him.
Yeah.
And that,
I didn't notice it at first. I read about it
that
afterwards.
too is metaphorical. He is his own demons. He is, his own accuser.
He's his own best lap dancer.
Legit, right? Like, so I love the fact also that the Montero, that's his actual name. That's the name he, grew up with.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so he wrote this, Dear 14-year-old Montero. This is from Lil Nax X. I wrote a song with our name in it. It's about a guy I met last summer. I know we promised never to come out publicly. I know we promised never to be that type of gay person. I know we promised to die with the secret, but this will open doors for many other queer people to simply exist. You see, this is very scary for me. People will be angry. They will say I'm pushing an agenda, but the truth is I am. The agenda to make people stay the F out of other people's lives and stop dictating who they should be. Sending you love from the future. In X. So I think there's something really deep, personal, and beautiful in the lyrics and in what he's doing here. There's some Greek and some Latin in here that I wanted to talk about as well, because I think it's Greek on the tree. We even make a joke about it, like it's all Greek to me, which I thought was really, really funny. But that is from Plato's Symposium. And it says, after the division of the...
Of course.
After the division, the two parts of man, each desiring his other half. And there's a lot of this video that deals with duality and who are you and which part of you do you embrace. So I thought that was beautiful. And then on the floor in hell, there's some Latin that says dominant quod non intelligent. And that means they condemn what they do not understand. And I just find all that stuff really meaningful. And I don't know. I was really impressed by this one, if you can't tell. So,
I think that the symbolism and the story and the purpose is impressive. And then when you go into the lyrics, of course, I don't relate to some of it. Not because it's about like what? It's a lot of, hey, it's like let's do drugs and fuck, right? Is that kind of your interpretation of the lyrics?
Not really. Not really. There's
on a superficial level. That's when, like, if you just read the lyrics and you're not looking at the visual, it's like, hey, hit me up. I'm in town. Let's party. I want to shoot a baby in your mouth. It's
the sexual. I'm not arguing the sexual stuff. The substance stuff seems to me to be a warning more than like an embracing.
Oh, interesting.
The way it's worded. But you're totally right about the sexual stuff.
But what I'm saying is, not every love story or every relationship song is going to be a wonderful love story. There's tragedy in trying to find like what you want to, the kinds of relationships that you want to have. And I think this is clearly showing that wild dance with the devil situation. And one of the things I really loved about the symbolism that I can relate to as somebody who was raised around people who would tell you if you did certain things, you were going to go to hell, is there's this element that I was like, yeah, I remember this feeling of, you know what? If I'm going to hell anyway, I'm going to go on my terms and I'm going to be the best me that I know how to be, and fuck all y'all. Like, I'm just going to do my thing. And if you don't like me because you think I'm going to go to hell, just stop telling me about it. I'm going to do my own thing. And so I'm going to be the best person going to hell that you've ever met. So hi, like kind of went like that. And I felt that sort of rebellion and embracing that your own story. And so, yeah, there's parts of it that I really enjoyed, and parts of it that I'm like a little confused by, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But I love the message that he wrote to himself. That to me means a ton. So.
Yeah.
And I also, sorry. I also really like
you're fine.
I like what you said, Jonathan, about it being like a Prince. And then Aaron, kind of like you mentioning these other big artists who do, like even Gaga, who does these.
Bowie
really,
would be another.
Yeah. I can completely see that because he's very message and art driven. And I love watching artists like him create.
I just think the Small Town Road thing, it would be very easy to kind of look at that. If that had, because that's kind of one of those songs where it feels like this could be his only hit, But then since he's had more hits, it's, I was like, well, I should have, I guess, seen, I don't know. I just didn't see that coming. That felt, I don't want to belittle that song or anything. I just, at the time,
right.
That happens to a lot of artists, right? So
yeah,
I'm glad he was not a one-hit wonder, I guess is what I'm saying, because he's very interesting.
I think you could read it either way on the substance thing, and I think what he has said, I read some stuff he had talked about was that when he comes into situations where there's substances, he always comes out the other side going, was that really beneficial? And kind of not liking that part of himself. And so when he talks about it here, he says, baby, you live in the life, you ain't living right, cocaine and drinkings with friends. Like in the first part, he's saying all that stuff is just, it's not worth it. It's messing you up. But then in the second part, he also says that he envies it a little bit. Like it goes into it with envy. So there is part of him that understands he still kind of wants to let loose in that way, but that he always comes out the other side going, I don't think that's worth it. So that's how he's talked about it. But yeah.
Barrett said Montero is a fun video and it's surprisingly deep. It's just in the lyrical content, but not just in the lyrical content, but also with imagery, lots of biblical and historical allusions here. Allusions, not illusions. Which I wouldn't expect from a video that is widely known for the main character dry humping Satan. I knew I was going to knock some sins off, but I surprised myself at the end with how much I took off. This doesn't go up there with the greatest videos of all time or anything, but I appreciate that it's wholly unique. And I love, that Lil Nax X has become so much more than the Old Town Road guy. Also, did I mention he dry humps Satan and then kills his ass? That's pretty fucking rad right there.
Did Barrett work on either of the CinemaSins this week?
No.
It's too bad. So we're not going to get a callback to Lil Nas.
No callbacks. No callbacks.
Are you drinking a Coke?
No, this is tea.
Oh. Sorry.
That's okay.
That surprised me. So
there's going to be a day, Aaron, where I'm just going to have like 10 things over here and I'm just going to hold them up and then just see how quickly it takes Jonathan to go, was that a Post-it note? Was that a stuffed animal?
Right now, I can't. All I can picture is Aaron reading Play-Doh. That's all I got in my head. I got like his kids going like, "Hey, Dad, can we watch the new episode of Mighty Ducks Game Changer?" He's like, "Hold on a second. I got to finish this. I got to
find out what happens in the cave. What happens in the cave?" All right, let's get into the sins, shall we? I think I'll start this one off. The problem is that the main title for this song is in all caps. Pick a syntactical lane, modern pop music. My favorite
so
MVS
much.
running gag is about the capital letters.
Yeah, that narrator, man.
If Nas is gonna slide down to hell anyway, why'd he even make most of the trip up to heaven? He gets this close to St. Peter, then he's all like, psych! I just love the way that Barrett said psych. Made me laugh quite a bit on that one. What did you guys have?
I'm pretty sure the foliage on these trees shouldn't look like used wads of grape bubblicious was
It's
one
true.
I had.
It's fair enough.
And then I also had, if you hump the devil in a music video, you have to have a sin assigned to you from a goofy YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Justin Bieber.
I wrote down, I'm not entirely sure whether angels have genitals or not, but if they do, Lil Nas is looking right at the celestial being's junk.
All right, let's move into CinemaSins. Prince of Persia is the first one, and this is a Jenna Chris sins video. This is Chris and Jennifer on this one.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? Sorry. Chris and Danae then. Chris and Danae.
That's right. I knew it was Jennifer.
So Danae, you wrote on this one. So you watched Prince of Persia, huh?
Danae, you did your job. You wrote on
What'd you think of it?
Did. I hadn't seen it before.
Yeah.
It was fun to sin.
Yeah.
But as always, writing with Chris is an absolute joy.
It's intimidating, isn't it? He's so good.
He always makes me step up my game a little bit. And I always feel, and I've said this before, so I'm sorry, this is repetitive, but it's always true. I'll read something he writes and I'm thinking like, oh, that's a really good way of writing that from that perspective or thinking about it. So I've learned to kind of, through his sins, to question what we're doing and what we're watching a little bit differently every time. And so I really enjoyed this one, but it was interesting. First of all, guys, there's an actor named Jake Gyllenhaal, okay? And I didn't know that. But apparently this was one of those movies where he became like fangirly, like people kind of liked him from this one. I was reading about that. He had a nice little, oh, Dustin following thing going on.
Well, it is interesting because you don't think of him that way anymore, or really. I mean, like,
I don't know what else I would know him from.
Well,
I didn't even go look it up.
I mean, obviously, he started with. Why is it slipping my brain? Jonathan, help me out.
Okay,
Talking about Gyllenhaal?
Yeah,
Brokeback Mountain.
That's
not Donnie
Just
Darko.
saw that.
Darko. That's what. Yes, Donnie Darko. Thank you.
We're not
he was
talking about the fucking bunny, okay? Damn it!
That was the first thing I remember really seeing him, and he was in stuff before that though. Like, I mean, he was in
October
stuff as a
Sky.
kid.
October
like,
Sky. I love October Sky.
October
That's
Sky.
fun.
That was before
Yeah.
Donnie Darko.
Guys,
So
I'm
no, I
on
did know him before
IMDb.
that.
Don't panic. Yeah, I'm just kind of glancing through to see. I've literally never seen any of these movies except. So this is my first time to see Jake Gyllenhaal.
He's incredible. He's such a great
City
actor.
Slickers, which would have been the first movie I saw him in. He plays Billy Crystal's
Oh,
kid.
nice. That's fun. Yeah,
But October Sky was probably the first starring role that I saw him in.
I'm just saying what you're saying is interesting, Danae, about Prince of Persia, because you don't think of Jake Gyllenhaal. He's an attractive man, but you don't think of him as like heartthrob, like he had a heartthrob poster stage. And
like
I guess
an action adventure heartthrob.
Yeah, like Prince of Persia is pretty much the only example of that for him.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, okay,
I
I'm
guess.
sorry. I guess I'm just thinking like big budget, like where he's like, I mean, I don't know. This feels like they were trying to, like he was trying his hand at becoming like a big box off, like a big movie,
yes,
like
do
the summer movie star kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it didn't really make a lot of money. But he's not had an issue getting work, and it's probably good. Maybe it's good that this didn't do as well because we wouldn't have. Maybe we don't get Nightcrawler.
Right. Totally. Danae, what did Chris have to say?
Chris said, Prince of Persia is a video game adaptation that feels maybe a few years too late. The first game came out in 89 and the Sands of Time game came out in 03. The movie ends up coming out in 2010. I think most of the issue I have with this movie is the time-traveling dagger. Super agree with you, Chris. Tamina, the movie's female lead, could use it to save her city, but decides not to. I have to tell you guys, so when I got the combination script and I read this thing that was like, yeah, maybe she should have used this to save her own city, my comment was, holy shit. 'Cause, like, it was one of those things I hadn't thought of. But yeah.
Nice.
Gah. I guess only a guy can use it. I don't know. It's not even considered, he continues. And even worse, no one even asks why she didn't use it so that the movie can give us some bullshit explanation. Several times in this movie, someone has a dagger filled with time-traveling sand and gets in a bad situation and doesn't use it. The mythology around the dagger also bothers me. The gods were going to destroy humanity, but one little girl prayed to them, so they decided not to do it. And also, here's the gift of time travel. I also really enjoyed when I got the script and read that. I was like, oh my God, that's so true.
It is one of the... is there more?
There's more, but you can go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
He says, the movie also creates unnecessary sprawl by locating a giant source of time-traveling sand underneath the city of Element, but the dagger itself was forged in a completely separate area, far away in a hidden temple, and when they decide that it's best that no one has the dagger and they want to return it, there are insanely made-up-on-the-spot rules Returning the dagger means that whomever is protecting it dies. Look, if the gods are going to spare me and give me a time-traveling dagger, then there should be no punishment for returning the dagger. Every time someone comes up with an idea concerning this dagger, Tamina is there to bring up some rule she hasn't brought up before. Only the protector can return the dagger, kind of a thing. Everything about this dagger is annoying. Also, if you want your movie to have a surprise bad guy, you can't cast Ben Kingsley as someone who's rarely in the movie for the first hour. And honestly, we really think very little of people who lived back in these olden days. The fact that Jake Gyllenhaal can't be the killer should easily be figured out by everyone around him. By killing the king, he has no right to the throne. He's not the next in line. The supposed killing happens in public, as if someone wanting to off the king would do it this way. He is known for being bad about remembering gifts, and his brother gave him the later poisoned robe to give to their father. The brothers should have put 2 and 2 together pretty quickly. That's the thing I love about writing with Chris. He's really good at going, this plot doesn't make sense. Whereas I'm sort of in it and buying it and almost justifying away these sorts of things. He has a way of questioning it and grounding it in reality that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about our experience with it. Have you seen this movie, Aaron?
This is a movie I have definitely seen. I know for a fact I've seen this movie, but it did not stick with me at all.
Yeah.
It has been long enough that
What's
I couldn't
weird-
tell you any of the scenes or anything that happened in this movie, other than I just watched the Sins video.
I know more. I remember more about going to see it than the movie itself because my wife is a huge Sex and the City fan, huge, and I'm not. Like I watched the show with her, and I never really got into it. But she was nice enough not to make me go to the movies, but she still wanted to go see the movies, and we were on vacation both times they came out. So Sex and the City, the first one, I went and watched. The Indiana Jones and the.
I'm sorry. What's the crossover for Sex and the City to this one? Is he in Sex and the City?
No. They both got released the same weekend.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so we go to the theater together because we're out of town. She goes and sees a Sex and the City movie. I go see something else. So this was the weekend Sex and the City 2 came out. I went and saw Prince of Persia. So we were at Disney too. So I'm like in a Disney theater watching a Disney movie. Like I felt like I was like. A marketing ploy, but I watched this video and I'm like, I do not remember anything that happened in this movie at all. The only thing I remember was that people were making. I mean, this is early days, so this is even I guess is this pre-Twitter, right after Twitter? I don't know, but people were complaining at the time. I remember somewhat about Gyllenhaal playing a Persian, but I mean,
Sure.
2 minutes into the movie, you find out he's not a Persian. He was right. He was adopted or something.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember because I remember watching and going like, people clearly have not seen this movie that are complaining.
Yeah.
But anyways, I thought it was. I remember at the time, I thought it was okay. I didn't really think, but clearly, I've never watched it again, and I didn't. Didn't even remember who was in it.
Me
like
either.
I forgot Ben Kingsley was in it.
Yeah, totally. I'm totally with you. What a forgettable film.
Yeah.
This says a lot. Let's get into the Sins. Jonathan, why don't you start us off?
Right on. Seems like their most trusted general would have more tactics than just attacking head on. I thought was very funny. You also should be hiding, being the most wanted man and all. Kind of sounds like you're just making shit up now was hilarious. And sucking the upper lip was the other one.
Oh my God. That fucking kiss, man. I have never been uncomfortable watching an on-scene kiss before. Like that I remember. Of course, that doesn't say a lot about me because I don't remember things. That on-scene kiss was so uncomfortable. I literally took a screenshot of it.
It's kind of gross.
It was so like the actor that's playing Tamina. It's like they're going for a kiss, and then all of a sudden she just absorbs his entire from the bottom lip all the way up the top lip to his nostril. It is and was just the most confusing decision.
I remember vividly.
Here, I have a screenshot of it. I'm going to show you.
It's Gemma Arterton is the she was also in Murder Mystery,
okay.
which we talked about on this show a while back.
I remember vividly a girlfriend in like my freshman year of high school.
Oh yeah, because you were the kissing bandit.
Pretty
or
much,
whatever.
yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
No, you said that before. You said something about you kissed a lot of people.
No, yeah,
or
I'm
something.
laughing at Danae popping the picture up on
literally
the
took a
screen
screenshot
on an
of it
audio-only podcast. But yes,
Look who's
literally-
getting distracted now.
That is how I was like, this has to be talked about on BTS. if there's no other reason than to watch Prince of Persia, it is for the kiss because I just need to know how people feel about it.
So
she's kissing the mustache.
So I can't remember. Her name was probably Jennifer because I pretty much only dated Jennifers in high school.
And your best friend is Jennifer.
And my best friend is Jennifer, and my wife is Jennifer. So, it certainly was a popular name. But anyhow, I remember the first time we kissed, she swallowed my face and like jammed her tongue like back to my tonsils. And I was just like, oh, so people do this when they kiss? Like, I was just like, what is happening to my face right now? Like, so I vividly remember the first time someone attacked me with their kiss. And it's the weirdest thing.
High
Especially
school
if you've never
kissing is
experienced
the
it before.
worst, by the way. I remember I bit this girl's lip, and I realized it right when it happened, but I didn't know how to like back out of it. So,
so you did it again to pretend like it was intentional.
I just left the situation the way it was until we were done, and she never talked to me, which is fair.
Totally fair. Fair enough.
I mean, there's that's one thing. That's like first kisses.
Right. Yeah, totally.
That's the uncomfortable.
Right, yeah.
These are trained professionals.
Right.
Who are taught how to do on-screen kisses. And she literally hoovers his face into her mouth.
Yep.
You can see it happening. Anyway.
Yeah. No.
So-
She was also she was in Clash of the Titans, which I think the first one came out around this time. The remake, obviously not the 81 one, but
anyway, sorry, I interrupted your sins. Also sucking the upper lip. So,
Yes.
no, that was done. That was my last one.
Oh, okay.
That was hilarious. So you wrote that one?
Yeah, I was so disturbed by that, like genuinely and completely disturbed.
Yeah, I had several of those as well. Also, people watching this movie in the Middle East certainly didn't think this is all that far away. I really think it's a great observation, and just how central we are to ourselves. Oh, sure, as if you rode all the way out here without knowing your brother was missing. What is this? Thrown Alone?
Thrown Alone was good.
Thrown Alone is a great joke.
Yeah.
Then the character says, "That's our way in," and the narrator says, "Through the door? You don't say." Great.
There was also a great "you think" sin in this. Or was that? Oh my God, that might be Enchanted. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The every Tuesday and Thursday, hey, that's when we release our videos. Whatever they lack in beauty, they make up for in fighting spirit. Hey, that's our staff.
Okay, that is certainly one.
That's totally fair.
That's one where when I wrote it, I left a note for Chris. I was like, I'm just being dumb. And then I'm like, oh, it's going in? Okay.
It's great. No, it's great. It's
Hey,
totally.
look, I have a podcast body.
That's
I'm
good.
okay
Yeah,
with it.
we've all got pod bods, so we're okay. Let's see. And then, but now they can grab a long pokey thing and drag the key to them pretty easily. Take the key with you or swallow it like a real man. Loved that. And then when he's licking the arrow tip and the sin is simply blow an arrow.
Yeah.
Just beautiful word work there.
Yeah.
Danae, what were some others?
There are sometimes when you're writing a sin and you're like, I know that my writing partner is going to have something better, or I hope. And then I read that from Chris and I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the only one that should have ever made sense.
Yep.
I really love when he points out and then the camera gets drunk for a second. I laughed really hard. I every single time I read and saw in the edit the fuck this urn, I laughed again. I just it's just such a funny moment, like a little fuck this urn. I laughed again whenever I was reviewing it because I'm a simple person. I really liked Jeremy's delivery of the "oh no, the very important item dangling from your person." Just his lackluster delivery on that one. I wanted to point out that I wrote a sin about the safely smuggling thing and the guy that's just the princess gives the dagger to someone to get out of the city when it's being attacked. He doesn't go to the tunnels to escape. He gets on a horse and literally goes, make way, and charges into the battle. And then of course loses the dagger. And so I'm kind of making fun of this, and I call him a chuckle fuck. And the reason that I brought that one up is because in the notes, Chris says, chuckle fuck is used far too little. We need to use that more. This needs to make a comeback. So that was really fun. And I really liked Jeremy's delivery of the king is alive. It's a ghost. Someone messing with the king's dead body. And he's immediately caught and executed. So yeah, there's a lot of fun ones, but I really enjoyed the outtakes. I wanted to talk a little bit about those just briefly because I had two weird things happen to me when I was watching the movie. One was when Destin is like standing before he does those epically strange dives. And I just had this weird thing in my mind. And I heard Bugs Bunny's voice and I didn't know, it was just the sound of Bugs Bunny. And I was like, what the fuck is that? So I just wrote down, research Bugs Bunny, and turns out I must have seen this when I was a kid or something. It's the high, blah, blah, blah. So that was weird because I didn't know where that came from. And then when he's writing on the paper and the whisper is like, man, Montauk. I also, all I had was, I'm like, oh, somebody whispers something in a movie. That'd be really funny if he was like writing a note and whispering it to himself. And I just literally typed in whispers in movie and started watching tons of YouTube videos until I finally came across the Meet Me in Montauk. I'm like, that's what I heard in my imagination. So it took me way too long on both of them, but I was weird. I had a weird experience of them being in my subconscious. So
That's neat.
That is interesting. It's also interesting that we have an entire outtake probably in this episode of another example of you having things in your conscious that just come out.
That's true.
And you
Oh
just
my
don't know
God,
where it
it's
comes
true.
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And the last thing I'll mention is the fun bonus round.
Yeah, the jumping bonus round. It's good
He
stuff.
really jumps a lot in this. There's a lot of jumping
Lots of jumping indeed.
and needed to be sinned.
Let's move on to Enchanted. This is an Arami script. This is Jeremy and I doing Enchanted.
Do you want me to read his thoughts on the movie?
Oh, did you get some in? What do you say?
Yeah. I hate it. The movie is surprisingly casually racist at times and ends up being the very thing it thinks it's making fun of.
Those are all fair points.
I don't think he liked this movie that much.
No, he did not. He did not. There was some comments in the comments and on Twitter about think Jeremy put a little oomph in his narration on this one, like a little bit of a Pete's Dragon situation going on here. Had
he never seen it before?
I'm not sure if he'd ever seen it before. I know I had seen it before and thought it was just fine and kind of fun and clever and that kind of thing. And then watching it again, it's not great. It's not great in a lot of ways, and that's going to happen. Things age poorly. So yeah,
I don't even know how many times I've seen this movie.
I bet
it's a lot. My daughter liked watching this, and I completely understand why. But I mean, I like it overall. I think at this point, I mean, I don't really particularly ever want to watch it again, just because I've seen it like a couple hundred times, or at least parts of it. But I don't. I mean, maybe I just missed stuff, or maybe I was just watching it through my daughter's eyes. So so it was kind of surprising seeing some of the stuff that was mentioned in the video, and it seemed very fair. So
yeah.
Amy Adams is excellent, though.
Oh, she
Oh
is
my gosh.
so good in this
I loved
movie.
her.
She is
I think
so
this is
good.
the first time I fell in love with her because I have seen this one.
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember watching it and being delighted by it because I'm used to this kind of Disney-esque story, and just kind of buy into it and play along. It was long before questioning whatever I was seeing, but I did see it, and I remember just loving her. Oh, and also Grey's Anatomy, hunky boy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it has that going for it.
I think all of a sudden I forgot his name. The Prince.
Yeah.
Got.
Yeah, him too.
He's in X-Men movies. and
Marsden,
goddamn.
James Marsden.
Yeah.
James Marsden?
I'd never seen him do something like this, so I thought he was actually quite good, and being what are the oaf or whatever you want to call it. But no, yeah, this might have been like Amy Adams had been in other things I had seen, like Talladega Nights and stuff, but this was the first thing like I was like, oh, I like her. Who is she? So but anyways, she's easily the best part about it. I do like the musical number. Which you guys did not seem to, but the one in the park.
What's interesting about that musical number, what we sin, I think rightfully so, is that this isn't that kind of musical really anywhere else. It's just once you're in the real world, real world things are supposed to be taken for granted, but then all of a sudden there's a big musical. That's what we're sinning about it. As far as performance and fun, it's pretty amazing.
I don't know. I just like that idea. I feel like somebody had that. Like, what would happen if they were in the real world and the musical number happened?
Totally.
And I thought that was pretty interesting for me. But no, yeah.
I think it's also wild that Idina Menzel is in this movie, and she doesn't sing. And then she pretty much has the same. She's called on to do another turn the fairy tale trope on its head movie with Frozen. So
yeah, that was a great sin too.
Yeah. So
the Let It Go sin.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, I think we've all said our piece. I'm ready to head into the sins. Danae, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, that's part of what I do. Discount Bambi without the lips. There are at least 3 things he won't be able to do that I was really looking forward to. And then the wait, I just thought of another one. This is great. I wrote down so many. I have so many. I loved the Sins video so much. She says, "Oh my gosh," instead of "Oh shit, my fucking tailbone." Let's see. No, yes, and New York City pedestrian traffic is heavy. No, it cannot literally pick up and carry a person like ants do with potato chips. I thought that was wonderful. The sin, if you jump on my car in traffic, I will get out and beat the shit out of you with my 5-iron.
That might have been like the most Jeremy sin ever,
right?
assuming he wrote it.
Yes, exactly.
I wrote down so many.
Go for it.
I humbly submit that no type of soap or cleaner would be sufficient if it's applied by literal rats' asses. Just the humbly submitting, and then the rats passing off dishes to pigeons. This is like a disease assembly line, but we're all supposed to be happy and shit.
That scene where he walks in on her though is hilarious, and she's got like all the animals and stuff.
You can't put on a chef's hat and go around inspecting dishes. Maybe at an Applebee's, but not a fine dining one. The G-spot college girlfriend joke got me because it ends with yes, my college girlfriend's G-spot was in the same place, impossible to find, I promise you. And then lots of people have tried.
Can I just say that is a combine or an addition? That last sentence, let's just say, wasn't there in the original writing, and then I suggested it, and Jeremy said, "Yep, there's the joke."
And then the last one I wrote down is just one I genuinely appreciate because I think there have been many times I've written something and I just am so angry with it. And this was, I've seen Jeremy like write his hatred jokes multiple times, but this is probably the most I've seen because I don't remember Pete's Dragon. I know that one's pretty epic, but like this one for me is kind of like at the top of the list. The whole, this movie has broken me, I'm done. It could eat a dick, a bag of dicks, the world's biggest dick, a dick of frozen, like what did it say? The dick of a frozen mastodon. And then it just keeps going. And I'm like, yeah, this is some good shit. I've felt this before when I've watched a movie. And so, yeah, I felt validated.
Probably when you were watching Love Actually. I mean, this sounds kind of like the same thing.
That movie can eat a dick. Yeah. Anyway, I wrote down a lot. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Jonathan, what do you got?
Guys, there's a pizza at the table. Eat the fucking pizza.
Yeah, that was so
That
funny.
felt like a very Aaron joke.
It was.
Aaron sin.
And let me just say, as angry as Jeremy is at this movie, I am as angry at them sitting there with that pizza on the table and not eating it.
That pizza looked good,
That makes
too.
no sense. Your pizza, you wait for your pizza to get to the table so that you can eat it. And they're all just sitting there. Like, there's no pizza at the table. Like, I was infuriated.
That looked good, too. I might have to get pizza for lunch, by the way, now that we're talking.
Yeah.
The pop-up book sin, and I agree, pop-up books are the fucking worst. I've broken a few, which made my daughter laugh hysterically, so I guess it was all in for good. But no one turns off the daughter's lamps. I don't know why that got me. But my daughter is like it's two different things because that was the dad forgetting too. But my daughter, basically the upstairs is all hers, and I've never once gone up there after she's left and there's not at least 3 lights on. So
lights and doors, man. Lights and doors. Kids don't understand them.
4 kids.
I know.
Oh
kids don't understand them. It's like, what are you supposed to close the door? Why would you ever close the door?
Why would you even have this many lights on in the first place? Like it's like it's daytime. Like it's the most confusing thing ever. 6 old ass white couples dancing to island music. I also loved the use of waltzes. That this waltz is on for some time. I thought was a perfect placement of that kind of sin. And say what you want about Disney, but stringing up a chick monk crucifixion style in a closet is definitely a choice.
Yeah.
And I just want to say the third mouse from the right reminded me of Danae.
Oh, nice. Good to know. Good to know.
I had a joke for Prince of Persia and forgot about it. I was going to say Alfred Molina reminded me of Danae, but
Yes, I can see that. Definitely can see that. Amazing, sire. Your 10th troll this month. Things my minions say to me while reading our comment section somehow ends up in the script. We shall be married in the morning. And then the sin is just Ross Geller. I thought that was really funny. Why are these the only animals in New York that came? Where are the stray dogs, the cats, the police horses, the ants, the snakes, the sewer gators? And then ending it with Gondor has called for aid. Rohan must answer.
it's not okay to say sewer gators, by the way. That's not funny.
Okay, fair enough.
They exist.
Literally was like, I have to stop writing down sins that I enjoy. Like, I cannot write anymore.
The whole thing, we haven't talked about the fact that she like knows nothing about this world, but all of a sudden during the cleaning song knows exactly what a vacuum cleaner is and a shower drain is and all that stuff.
You leave Amy Adams alone.
Thank you.
But I did like the Princess in the Streets, Plumber in the Song Sheets reference. I thought was really good. So there you go. There is Enchanted, and we have made it through.
My wild. Wait, no. I really like that one too, where it's like, why aren't there any dogs? Why aren't there any cats? Why is it all these? Yeah,
it's good stuff.
It's just funny. Good stuff.
All right, let's move on to keeping tabs.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
Oh, jeez.
This is the most public yet of my many humiliations.
We're each going to talk about something from the writing process that we want to bring out. Danae wants to go first because she's waving her finger around. What do you got?
Wiggly wag, wiggly wag. Okay, I can finally talk about fucking ostriches. Let me tell you
can
about
talk
my
about
search.
doing what to ostriches?
No. God, fuck. Oops. Okay, so oh my God. Okay, so I went to. I was thinking about, hey, ostriches are birds. Fowl is a word that goes with birds. Mm-hmm. Can I do some sort of foul-y pun? Which I'm terrible at puns.
Nice. There was one of those in Enchanted.
I'm going to look it up. So are ostriches fowls was my first Google search. And then you know how, so I took a screenshot of it, of my search so my screenshot is an ostrich a fowl?
They do taste like chicken.
And so then I learned about like, what is the meaning of fowls, and then it kind of keeps going down and it shows you, as we all know on a Google search, other searches that have been done before.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
suggested searches.
Are ducks, birds, or fowls? Can an ostrich kill a lion?
It's a good one.
And then the next one is, how many hearts does an ostrich have? And it goes on like, what do you do if an ostrich chases you? What's special about them? Can they outrun a horse? Do they have some? And then like, how many hearts what does ostrich taste like? But I was really like, wait, what do you mean hearts? And so I did a really quick search, and when you do a quick click of the how many hearts does an ostrich have, it's so deceiving. I guess my search did not.
That's how Danae got to the porn site. That's her excuse.
Yeah.
I clicked.
Yeah, we're going to get to the porn in a second. So it says, the big response, 8 hearts from a healthy male ostrich were obtained from the slaughterhouse immediately after slaughter. And I was like, what? They have 8 hearts?
You tweeted about this.
So I tweeted about it because the idea, of course, here is like, you should never just look at the answer that Google is giving you as the final answer, because this was a study that was done where they harvested 8 hearts from 8 ostriches, but the answer is so deceiving. So for probably 15 minutes, I'm like, they have 8 hearts?
Like, where would they all go? Like,
holy shit, why? And then I was thinking about like, how many hearts do other animals have? And so I was flipping my shit for a hot minute, trying to figure out that. So that was kind of a fun, they don't have 8 hearts. It's just, you have to click and learn about what these sites are telling you, or don't click. There were also other searches. How much is an egg worth? Can they kill a lion? Came up a couple times. They have a really powerful kick. So technically, yes, if they kick you, they could kill you, including a lion, I suppose. Then it goes to, what's the deadliest animal in the world? And so that was another kind of little fun thing. Do you guys want to guess the most from the list, according to CNET? the animal that kills the most humans every year?
The animal that kills the most, that's the mosquito.
How do you know that?
How would you, I mean, it's just because of disease.
That's really smart.
Sorry. I apologize for knowing the answer.
Wow. That was really, no, you should be really proud of yourself. That's amazing.
Sometimes I feel like I am proud of myself, but then I'm also really ashamed that I know all these stupid little things.
That's fucking amazing. Okay. What's number 2? Come on, smart man.
I don't know number 2. I just know that the mosquito is the top killer of humans.
Mosquito is top, yeah. Number 2 is humans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Number 3, snakes. Mm-hmm. And now you know. I do have one more that I researched just really quickly because I was concerned about the animals being properly taken care of in this movie. There is, and I know it's movie magic, but there's this scene where there are horses charging full speed through rocky terrain, which is very dangerous for horses.
Sure.
They have little ankles, guys. Like one wrong rock and they're just like broken, right? So I was a little bit concerned. And so there is a website called humanehollywood.org. The tagline being "No animals were harmed," and you can actually go and look up all these different movies to learn what happened. And there were animal deaths in the movie, but they are all ones that were for special circumstances that were deemed to be appropriate, like the normal way that animals just can die naturally. So there was all that. So
interesting.
Yeah, and I kind of like I kind of like being able to go to this website. But yeah, they have a rating of special circumstances for this movie. And then I got to read. I was really interested in this. Like throughout the film, mules, goats, camels, horses, and other background animals are seen milling about. And then they tell how it happened. They explain how they were milling and how they made it work. And then it explains their climate conditions and the handlers that were there and stuff. And when they were close to each other and the stunt riding and all this stuff, it's like, and all this. So then it says for the desert scenes, animals were only allowed to walk or run on paths of firm sand. And for stream scenes, the water was shallow and the ground was cleared of hazards. The snow was fake, sandstorms and stuff were fake. So they did all that stuff. And then there was camera angles to make it look like horses were stepping directly into the fire, for example. So, of course, I didn't think that. And then they talk about the ostriches and how the ostriches were kept safe.
How they protect all 8 of their hearts.
Mm-hmm. All 8 of them are all, yep. And then just to reassure everyone, the snakes were not real. They were CGI.
Good, because they kill. Nice. They're the third most killer animal. I don't know if you know that. I'll go next. I wanted to talk a little bit about a possible you done messed up Aaron. The impossible helicopter stunt that I fully admit I did not research, that I didn't go all Mythbusters on. It's just my eyes weren't going to believe it. I did know that it has been done in planes before, that people have caught like free falling people in planes. And some people in the comments were saying they've done it with helicopters. I still cannot find proof that they have done this with helicopters. It seems to me that would be very, very dangerous with those spinning blades.
I still found it. Aaron said he did not agree, so I took the sin out. But there's that one part where the guy's like knocked out or whatever, and is no longer, or he grabs the guy off the helicopter and he's no longer attached to him with a cord. And Batrock's just holding the guy in midair. And I thought that was actually kind of impossible too. But Aaron said he thought you'd be able to do that. But
man, I don't know. I don't remember that scene. But it was
well, when they first go out, he's what did they call that? It's not bungeed. He's he's tied to him. He's got like a cord around him. The guy that they kidnapped.
Okay.
They've got him like harnessed.
Oh yeah.
And they go to that other helicopter. And then when they have to jump out of that one because, dude's coming, he's no longer harnessed. Dude's just holding him.
Oh.
And so I think you're right. I was just thinking it would be, he wouldn't be able to stay mobile. I don't know.
Right,
but I don't know how those flying suits work and stuff. But yeah, I think whatever we said there was justified.
Oh, it was either no matter what it was, it's it's for the for the entertainment factor.
Yeah.
But
hey, you guys go prove that can be done. Actually, please don't do that.
yes, please do not try this at home.
Let's
but
just
anyways,
cut that
so
out.
possibly, I mean, some people in the comments seem pretty convinced. I have not been able to find proof, but still seems impossible to me. But I thought I'd mention that. Jonathan, what do you got?
I will, before this, though, I guess Danae shared a picture of us in Slack because Barrett just literally asked if I dyed my hair. So
I did. I took a screenshot when we were talking about your red hair, and I was
I did not dye my hair. Anyways, I didn't really do anything. I guess I just basically I did Mighty Ducks and Captain America this week. I wrote on them. I didn't do them. I don't know. But I just kind of, I guess, reacquainted myself with those stories and whatnot. I will say, though, after we were just talking about, I guess it was Enchanted, I did look up, are there sewer alligators? And yeah, there are. So now I'm really terrified.
You're welcome.
And not even just in New York, like Pittsburgh apparently had an incident.
Yeah.
And it's just like, God.
Yeah.
Damn it. I don't want to be near a sewer now. Now I have to be afraid of sewers.
People buy baby gators as pets from, exotic
And why would
pets.
you buy a baby gator?
And people want
because they're so cute when they're little.
exotic pets or whatever, and then they get
Yeah.
too big, and so they get rid of them.
And that sucks. I feel bad for the gators.
Yeah,
Now
of
they're
course.
stuck in a nasty
It's
sewer
terrible.
instead of like being in their own like water that
Well,
they could be in.
you'll be happy to know it's not a common thing. It just
No.
has happened
It's definitely
once
not
or
a
twice.
common thing, but I knew it's an urban legend, and
Yes.
most urban legends are steeped in some reality. So I figured, but I wish I hadn't done the research. I just did. Okay.
Well, apologies.
No, it's not your fault.
All right, let's move on to the comment section.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We're each going to talk about a comment from the week's videos or Discord or Twitter or wherever we find it. I mentioned I had several. I have mentioned most of them already. I did want to say that I am sad that none of us thought of this, but it's probably because I hadn't seen Mighty Ducks in a long time. But Phoenix Bryan says Gordon is now a cake eater in the new Mighty Ducks TV show. That is an insult from the original Mighty Ducks. They call each other cake eaters, and now he's literally eating old birthday cakes in the show.
By the way, that was also funny. That was also funny to me when he was like, "How old?" She's like, "I don't know, 7 years old." No, the cake.
Yeah.
And then, like every time you see him, he's just eating cake.
So love that. And then I also wanted to mention SCP says, just waiting for the Pod Bod. It's the new Dad Bod t-shirts, hoodies, and sweaters. Also available in XXL. So there you go. Pod Bod is the new Dad Bod. Love it. I'd wear one of those. I'd definitely wear one of those. Today, why don't you go next?
I have a podcast body.
Well, we're gonna go over a lot of comments. Are you ready? Here we go. This one is from Apple Podcasts. Thank you guys. We continue to just inch closer and closer to 100 reviews. So thank you for doing that.
I
It
thought
does
you meant
help
like
our
Apple
stats.
Podcasts said something about us.
Yes.
I'm so confused.
The owner of Apple listens to our show. The title of it is Perfect Complement to the Sins Universe Videos. Oh my. It says, do you know how long it took me to figure out how to review? Like way too long. For any other podcast, I probably would have given up, but I persevered because Behind the Sins, the podcast that deserves my reviewing effort. Hearing about the writing process is always interesting and often hilarious. Thank you. Aaron, Jonathan, and Danae are wonderful, and I'm always eager to listen to their takes. If you're not listening to BTS, you're only getting half the story. So that's from Lost Lemon, and thank you
Nice.
for listening. I think I see that you're in Canada, so ahoy.
Lost Lemon?
Yeah.
Did you just say ahoy?
Yeah.
Isn't that like a ship thing?
I don't care. That's what I wanted to say.
Hey.
And then there's other ones that we haven't got to there yet, but I wanted to pop into Discord and with Lolly saying, "Oh my God, please make sure someone clips Danae's Double the Fun song from the outtake from last week for the best of BTS compilation." Just a reminder, you guys can send in your favorite BTS moments, and then we do a compilation eventually.
We're coming up on year 2.
We're coming up on it.
Yeah.
What episode number is this?
Well, this is like 94 or 93.
I was gonna say,
I think
we're
it's
getting
93.
Close, we're getting close to 100,
Yeah,
right?
we're getting close to 100 and close to our second year. So, yeah.
That'll be 104, I guess.
Technically, if we've done one a week, it should be, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm trying to think if we've missed a week. I don't think we have.
These chips are good.
Well,
I don't know if these chips are good week is an official numbered episode.
Yeah,
Those 2
I don't think we
weeks,
counted
my
that
audio
one.
sucked. Yeah. But I finally got a good mic. Supposedly, I have better internet now, too, because they replaced our modem yesterday.
Nice. Nice.
I also just want to say, as I was going through some of the ones that we haven't talked about on the Apple Podcast reviews, there's some people who are like completists, and they'll go back and listen to every single episode of BTS, and they're catching up right now as new listeners. So
I'm sorry.
Well done. Good job. I hope you're continuing to.
I'm always like, I'm sure we did. I'm sure. Well, I mean, you and Aaron were podcast veterans, so I'm sure I didn't sound like an idiot the first like 5 or 6 episodes, but I'm not going to go back and find out. So
Danae and I have been rocking the pod bod for years and years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It shows on the scale. just say that. That's it.
Jonathan, what do you got?
Well, one thing, and we didn't talk about, and I didn't mention it because I wanted to talk about it in the comments, but in the Falcon and Winter Soldier video, I think it's the last scene, right, is where we make the joke about, we make the comment about they de-aged Kurt Russell.
Yes, yeah.
And stuffed him in a Captain America suit because, for those that don't know, Wyatt Russell is Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son, and he is what? He's just Kurt Russell's son?
I did not get that. I remember reading, they'd been like, I don't get this one. And then you told me, and I was like, what?
And I think I told you I'm fighting for this one, right? I was
I think you thought that I wanted to cut it.
It was one of those things.
I was asking for clarification, just
Well,
like, hey, I want in on the
sins.
joke. And then like, and Jonathan came at me.
I don't know. I was trying to figure out something to do, and that's what came to me.
It's perfect.
Not like
it's great.
It's so good.
Yeah. But anyway, so I wrote that sin, and I knew this was going to happen, but I thought it was funny because somebody actually commented, I think, that they like that we always take off sins or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were a bunch of replies on there. And one of the replies was from Comics Fan, who said, yeah, but some of their sins are questionable at best, like the last sin about using CGI to de-age Kurt Russell when everyone knows it's his son playing.
I saw that, and I could not believe that was real. I could not. I'm like, that person has to be trolling. Like that's.
I actually replied, "That's a joke," and then I deleted it like 30 seconds later.
Yeah.
I was like, either he's troll, either he's doing it on purpose, or either way, it's just there's no point. But I figured it would happen. I only saw one though. But yeah, we know that's Wyatt Russell, and
that is the joke.
I super knew that already.
Insert that's the joke meme here.
Oh, I will say too on Twitter though, since you guys are reading multiple comments, we got a really nice tweet from I guess it's Rye Brown #B. It's @knowledge3z power is the @. And they were replying. I think Spotify just asked who your favorite podcasts, and she put CinemaSins, Sincast. I love those guys. They make my week every week. Promote them on your browse suggestions. And then she also tagged all of us. So
I saw that as well. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
It was very, very sweet.
You guys are awesome.
Yep.
That is the main theme. You guys are amazing. Let's get on to Beyond the Sin.
To infinity and beyond.
Somewhere beyond my wildest dream.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
We're each going to chat about something else from the pop culture world that we've seen recently. Jonathan's going to start us. What do you got, Jonathan?
I've been watching... here's another bingo card thing, by the way. If I mention Turner Classic Movies, I think that could be.
Yeah, no, you're right.
No, Turner Classic, though, they usually do it in March, but the Oscars are in April this year. So they always do 31 days of Oscar, which I guess this will be 30 days of Oscar. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they are still doing 31. Maybe they're going to go through May 1st. I don't know. But anyways, they just play Oscar-nominated movies. That's all they play. And they go about it in different ways. Like some years they've had like specific themes every day, like best screenplay, best director, stuff like that. This year they just picked however many movies, and then they decided to show them alphabetically. So I think they're on like G right now or H or something. But as of this recording, so I've just been watching random ones of those that I hadn't caught before. And I watched one that was really interesting the other night. This is a movie from 1985. It's called Agnes of God. Have you randomly seen this, Aaron?
No, I haven't.
Okay, Agnes, Agnes of God, and it is based on a stage play, which is I'm always kind of a sucker for if it's, and I mean like dramatic stage play, like not like a musical or something. This is just like Few Good Men would be an example of that. Glengarry Glen Ross, probably the most the most one you could compare it to in this way would be Doubt from I think 2008, which is a great movie, which was also based on a stage play. This one also involves nuns and Catholicism and stuff, but Meg Tilly plays a nun that gets pregnant and has her baby, and the opening scene, you don't see this happen. You just see everybody like screaming and stuff in the background, but she reportedly strangles the newborn baby. From there, though, like I said, it's not graphic or anything for anybody that's watching it, but it goes from there to Jane Fonda plays a psychiatrist who comes in to take her case to see if she's either A, perfectly sane, or if she needs to go to like a mental hospital. Basically, they're trying to figure out if she needs to go to jail or a mental hospital. Jane Fonda then starts thinking that she might even be innocent. Like she might not have been the one that did it. So it kind of turns into a bit of a murder mystery. But most of it's just Jane Fonda and Meg Tilly. And then there's another nun played by Anne Bancroft. And it's just kind of a back and forth between the three of them, like Jane Fonda kind of doing her own investigation, trying to figure out what happened. There's this whole thing, too, where Meg Tilly she says she doesn't even remember getting pregnant. So there's a whole thing about who got her pregnant and all that kind of stuff. But it's really fascinating to me. I'm surprised. It was just one of those movies that I just never caught. I'd heard little things about here and there, and I finally watched it. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, I think you'll really, really dig it. It's Jane Fonda, by the way, I've been watching a lot of Jane Fonda lately. They had on the Criterion channel, they had a whole section of her movies. And I guess I hadn't seen as many as I thought I had. I had seen some of the big ones like Clute and stuff, but she made a lot of really good movies, and she is a very good actor that I don't know, I'm just kind of coming to learn that, I guess, in some ways. So yeah, that's all. Agnes of God. And it's available currently on Watch TCM. I don't know how long it'll be on there, but it is available to like rent and all that kind of fun stuff. So
Agnes of God on Watch TCM. Danae, why don't you go next?
I have been, as you know, exploring the world of Dungeons and Dragons as a dungeon master.
What?
Meaning, like, I'm responsible for creating the story and oftentimes battle maps. Since we're all playing digitally, a lot of what I ask my players to do is just kind of keep it in the imagination, and I try to kind of describe the scene. But there are times when I would like to give them something visual so they can get strategic. Like they need to know if they're 5 feet away or 10 feet away, sometimes a spell or something that they want to do, or there's an area of effect, and actually seeing where they're being placed will help, especially if I've got a really powerful bad guy and I want to play by the rules too. So I've been exploring different options, and I found that a lot of times when I'm in when I can kind of have a burst of inspiration, I just have my phone with me. I don't get to go like run to my laptop and like figure out on a website or something. So I found an app that I've been kind of playing around with. It's really simple, which is all I need. I'm not trying to build some like really incredibly dynamic thing and make it look like a professional. I just need to make sure that it has a grid and I know where the doors and the walls are sometimes. So I will say this. There are some sites where you can build a dungeon map really, really quick and easy. But there are some houses that I have in my imagination in a very specific way. And so I've been testing out an app called Pallet Home, Pallette Home. And it is free and it is super simple and it's click and drag and it makes things easy. And you can, send it to yourself in an email and slap it up on Roll20 if you want to. Again, there's a lot of resources for anyone who is a DM or just wanting to build a map, but maybe this isn't about gaming for you. Maybe you want to redo your bathroom. I don't know. But this one seems to be pretty easily interactive. Again, it's not like supposed to be a design thing. In fact, a lot of the reviews, I was kind of looking over them just to see where it was before I suggested it. And a lot of the reviews, if they're negative, it's like, I want more window options and I want more, like, I would like to have some tile options. There are actually free other ones I've tried out that have a ton of options that are solely online that you can download to your computer. Entire like 3D home building when I was looking for kind of how to just build this house of my imagination. And those are too complicated. I just want something simple. And so I like Pallet Home. It's on my phone. I can just click and drag. I can use my fingers to kind of move things around, or I can, since I have a Note 9, I can kind of pull out my pen and use my pen as well, which is really helpful. So I just wanted to mention that. It's kind of a cool tool.
There really is something for everything out there, right? Like I feel like there's nothing you couldn't find. But at first I thought when you said that, I thought you were talking about you wanted to build a dungeon. I was kind of confused about that. But
I do want to build a dungeon as well. In my imagination, though, not in my basement.
Because I was like, I don't know that I'm coming to your house ever.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, if there's a dungeon, I'm just
not
kidding.
that I invited you. That's funny you say that because we're trying to pick out. We have a basement that we actually need to paint and kind of like bring
we don't really
up
have
to speed.
basements here.
And I am trying to decide what color I want. And both my husband and I are like, let's go dark. Like a theater where the walls are dark and then like you can turn the lights down and you can watch our big screen down there. And every single person we've told is like, well, that's a real big commitment. It's going to be dark down there. And we're both like, so now I'm wondering if maybe people know better. It will. That's what I'm saying is like, I'll be like, you guys want to go downstairs? And it'll just be like, dark walls.
But that's what lamps and stuff are for. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's not like you wouldn't be able to make. And I would love to come to your house if you invite me. I was just joking. As long as you don't put me in the dungeon.
Well, the basement might look like one is the issue.
We don't have basements here though. We have a lot of rock, a lot of limestone.
Totally.
We just don't really have. We don't really have basements. So that's always neat. My grandparents had one growing up, but I just don't ever see them. I wish I could have one. I
just imagine you coming over to my house now and being like, I imagine you coming over to the house now and being like, whoa, stairs that go down. What is that?
No joke. We don't see them that often. It's rare.
Wild, elusive downstairs.
I think I would do a theater or something.
That's what we did.
We're thinking about it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got one too. That's what you got all your stuff in
Although
there.
ours is a walkout basement, and so there's like natural light that can get in there too, so it's a little less dungeony.
By the way, does the term man cave, have we talked about that before? Does that bother you, Aaron? I don't know why. It always bugs me when people always make that comment. Because like my daughter got the bonus room because we just kind of gave her the upstairs, and guys are always like, oh, that must suck for you. You didn't get your man cave. I was like, I wasn't really looking for one, but thank you.
Yeah, there's a gender specificness to it that
it's called the living room.
Is annoying.
I'm the one watching TV in the living room. I'm good.
I'm going to talk about a comedy special that I really, really, really enjoyed. Laughed a lot. If you've heard of the comedian Nate Bargatze, I really think he's funny.
I think so.
I enjoy his other stuff. He's actually from Nashville.
Nice.
So he's from your neck of the woods. The special is on Netflix. It's called The Greatest Average American. And I don't know, it's just something that if you're looking for some laughs, it's also something you watch with anyone. Watch it with your parents, your kids, whoever. He's I don't think he sells himself as like quote unquote a clean comic, but he is. Like he just just talks about real life funny stuff, and really enjoyed it. So Nate Bargatze, The Greatest Average American, just came out on Netflix recently.
Very cool. I just looked him up. I do know who he is. I've seen him in other stuff. I've not seen this.
Dude.
Dude. And he's it's funny you said the Nashville thing. The first thing that popped up was that he was coming to Nashville in October. But like he's pretty big too, because he's playing like the Ryman. Like he's not playing the comedy club.
Yeah.
He's playing like
So he's got himself a following over the last couple years.
The Ryman, by the way, which is like, it used to be a church. If anybody, if anybody's not familiar. I mean, I know I guess it's well known, but I don't know what people know and don't know. I've lived here my whole life, but now it's like concert venue and stuff. So it's just hilarious when you go there and see like Alice Cooper or something like in a church, or like a stand-up comic, And,
I've seen many shows at the Ryman in my time.
Oh, really?
In my time in radio, our big conference for a long time was in Nashville, and a lot of the shows and concerts were there.
Awesome venue.
It's a great venue. Yeah, totally.
And there's not a bad seat in there. Well, there's probably a few, but
it gets a little. You get a little iffy when you're below the overhang, like the upper deck feels like, is that gonna hold? just because it feels old in there, but yeah, Ryman's a great place. So yeah, anyway, Nate Bargatze, The Greatest Average American on Netflix. You can check that out if you want to laugh a little bit. Well, there we go. That's going to wrap it up for Behind the Scenes this week. Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed. Go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. And if you've got anything you want to send us, you can mail it to us. That's right. Snail mail still exists for the time being. P.O. Box 881, Republic, Missouri, 65738. You can also hang out with us on Twitter. I'm at Aaron Dicer. She is at Danae Says.
DENEESAYS, also on Twitch.
And he is at Sam Loomis 13. So for Jonathan Watkins, Danae Hughes, the eighth heart of an ostrich, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy Rubber Eraser Day!
That's how you get kids.
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
This is the mic check song, the mic check song. Everybody sing the mic check song. When your microphone is on, everybody sing the mic check song.
No, I couldn't be on time. I had to be on Twitch for a potential giveaway win. Leave me alone. I didn't win.
Oh, how wow. Well, it's good to see you too, Danae Duck.
Listen, Aaron, I need you to focus on.
Okay, focusing, putting my phone down.
Tomorrow, I'm supposed to be leaving at like 6:30 in the morning to go back to the land and do a 12 to 14 hour workday. With a 60% chance of rain.
Yeah.
That part of like you that you just like, oh no, I'm starting to feel sick. Or like, oh, come on. There's got to be a reason I suddenly can't do. But
I'm having a vaccine sickness relapse, guys. Sorry.
I bent my thumbnail backwards yesterday for the first time in my life.
Well,
Maybe
there you go.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you need.
I have a Band-Aid on it and everything. I'm keeping pressure on it. It hurts. I think I might lose part of my fingernail. So that could be it.
Eventually, you'll just be like my son, who's just like honest now.
He's just I just don't
want to go. Like, all right, well.
I have not done this much like labor. I've never done this much labor like this. I've never like gone and built foundations I've never cleared land before.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to rake gravel for like 4 to 6 hours.
It's manual labor, man.
Let it never be said that I am not a good friend. Listen, I don't show up like this for everybody. I show up like this for certain people. And my girl better know she's one of my people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I avoid manual labor at all costs.
But if it was one of your close friends that you absolutely like ride or die, and they're like, hey, I need help, you'd show up.
Of course. That's what I was getting ready to say. Like there are certain people that that's my team, that's my crew, that's my peep.
It's Jonathan, isn't it?
No, I wasn't gonna say it. Yeah, and I also used to do like what were they called in church lingo? Work and witness strips. Did you ever do like a work and witness trip where
Nope.
like you go to a different country and you help build a church or build a school or those kind of things?
I went along, but I was a kid. My dad did that. He like built a church in a Spanish speaking community. I don't remember where we went. I think it was in Arkansas, but it was like a fully Spanish speaking. And so no one knew English. And so I think I've told you this story before. So by coincidence, when I was little, there was a couple at our church who were fluent in Spanish, and they wanted to create like a tape that they could send to their sister cities in Mexico for the kids to learn songs about Jesus. And so there's no Spanish-speaking children in Springfield, Missouri. So
that's an over-exaggeration. Guarantee you there are some Spanish-speaking children somewhere in Springfield, Missouri.
Okay, that was an over-exaggeration.
Yeah,
there were no Spanish-speaking children at the Assemblies of God headquarters church group.
Let's just say
in Springfield, Missouri.
Our little area here is not known for its diversity. That is not what we are known for.
No. So what they did was they actually took volunteers, and the little kids, we all got together and we took Spanish classes, and we learned all of these songs in Spanish and learned how to pronounce the words. And then we went to a recording studio and we recorded the album. And then the album was like put into production and made into, like all these little albums. And then they were sent out. Like my name is, in the cover of the album and everything. It's pretty cool. I was really it was a pretty cool thing to experience.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So fast forward, my dad is doing this project, and I was several years older, I think probably 10 or around the age of 10. And I think I had done the album like 3 or 4 years previous. But there was this one song that I wanted to have a solo on, but another girl got the solo. So, which is fine. I was just a little disappointed. I was like, oh, I guess I wasn't good enough. But my mom and dad were like, do you want to sing that song for the church? And so I went in front of this church and sang a song. I have no idea what I was singing. I didn't know I only knew it because of the repetition of singing it for the album.
Right.
I'm watching the audience crying tears. I have no idea why. It was incredibly
amazing.
And I was approached in swarm afterwards, and they're all talking to me, thinking that
you speak Spanish. Yes.
Really good Spanish too.
Yes.
They're like, so then the translator came over and they're like, they're complimenting you because you speak so well. And I was like, I don't know how to speak at all. Do you want to know the other thing I was thinking about recently?
Sure.
You remember this. The day I was just thinking about this last night, the day that I was remembering the lyrics to I'm Not Afraid of You and how fucking freaky that was.
Yeah, Fleming and John.
I was and still am confused, scared, perplexed, dumbfounded, all of these because I still don't have a memory of learning the song. And I'm like, I wish I could have seen me through your eyes because I was freaking out and singing at the same time.
Just for clarity, there's a great band called Fleming and John that had a couple albums, just kind of came and went. Incredible voice, and just one of the songs on the album is I'm Not Afraid, I'm Not Afraid, I'm Not Afraid of You. I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid of you. Yeah. So. So anyways, I was just playing Danae some of like old music that I'm sure she'd never heard. And she just started singing along word for word with this song. Word for word, the entire song. And she had no clue where the words were coming from. No clue.
No, it was like I was a robot and I was like two people at once. There was the part of me that was singing as if I knew it because I obviously did. And then there's the conscious part of me that has no idea. I didn't know the lyrics that were coming next. All I knew was that I was an autopilot singing a song that I have no memory of learning. It is so fucking scary. And I was just thinking about that last night. Like, that must have been such a trip. I wondered, because you and I are pretty new to each other. I wonder if you're like, is she fucking with me?
No, there was definitely a moment of like,
scared.
Am I being trolled? Is she, being,
yeah.
And then there's that separate little moment, because again, we didn't know each other a ton then. This was pretty early on in our friendship. But there was another moment is like, is she just a compulsive liar? Is she like trying to make stories?
Like, I cannot lie that long. I am such a, I like telling the truth. It just makes things so much easier.
Yeah. You had to learn the process of like yes-anding in a way, like a play kind of way, like an improvisational kind of way where you would carry on the quote unquote lie of the scene or the, the verbal reality as it's called. And you still to this day will just get tired of it about, 10 seconds in and be like, that's not at all true. Let's move on.
I can't do it. Okay. As a DM for my games, I am playing all these like characters that are not my players. And some of the characters are dark, evil people who do dark, evil things, right? Like they're the bad guys. And so I am trying so hard to act like a bad guy. And it is so hard for me to keep a straight face because I'm having so much fun. So it's like, I'm like, yeah, so there's Danae's face, but what you're actually seeing is like this really stern guy. But I'm like, so it's like, I really have to work on it a lot.
That's amazing. I'm the bad guy.
What's that from?
You don't know that song?
No.
Billie Eilish.
Oh.
I'm a bad guy.
Oh, now I can hear.
It's so good. As is my interpretation of the song. It's just dead on. Like they don't even need to play the actual song on the radio anymore now that they have my version. Last time I went on a missions trip or a work and witness trip was to Portugal, and that was when I got told by parents of some of the teenagers there that I was unfit to be around their children because of my work ethic. So
I remember you telling me about that now.
Yeah.
Your work ethic being like, well, why would I go out there and start working now when I can wait until we all start working together or whatever.
Or, prioritizing efficiency over just doing stuff. That was the main thing. It was like, if you're not doing something, then just do something. I'm like, well, I can move this rock from here to here, but I don't know that that's where it goes.
Right.
It's like
is this where it belongs? Am I going to have to move it again? Because that's not efficient.
I don't know how to build a roof. Give me instructions. No, they were upset because I was also I took some of the teenagers and went and played basketball with some of the local kids. And
oh, how dare you actually like hang out with them?
Yeah, built relationships.
How very un-Jesus-like of you.
No, that is what they said. That is literally what they said. So yeah, I mean,
isn't it strange how we can read
Christians
the same thing
can be the worst, man.
Like we read the same thing and it's like you really are getting something totally different than I am.
Yeah. So my son got pulled over yesterday, and it was for his taillights being out. Mm-hmm. And the policeman came up and said, "Your taillights are out." And my son says he could tell the policeman just like didn't like him. So that may be projection. I don't know. But he said all he said was, "Yes, sir." The policeman never asked him, like, did he know if his taillights were out? Any of that kind of stuff. Turns out the lights just hadn't come on yet because sunset had happened 10 minutes ago. So like the lights weren't even on yet. Like, the car has automatic lights that come on when it gets dark enough, and it just wasn't dark enough yet.
Okay.
He wrote him a court order. He has to go to court because his lights were off 10 minutes after sunset.
What a waste of time.
You know what it is. It's local municipalities who need money, and they get them from these stupid fines that you can't do anything about. You can't fight them. You can't, there's nothing you can do. We looked up the law. You know what the law is? You don't have to have your lights on till a half hour after sunset, and a half hour before sunrise they can be off as well. You get a half hour. So he was well within that time frame.
That's
and so
crazy.
Now we're like, what do we do? Are we those people that are going to fight this and pay court fees and plead not guilty and all that kind of stuff? And it's just like,
you could also spend a couple bucks, $2 or $3 and hire a lawyer.
I don't think a lawyer would be just $2 or $3, but
that's insane, man.
Well, he's frustrated too. He thinks it was discriminatory. Like he feels like because of his size and his look, like that the guy thought he was a tough guy and, didn't give him any chance to really say anything. He said the only thing he got to say was, "Yes, sir." Never asked him anything. I mean, that is a clear, if anything, warning situation. First-time driver, no previous record, lights haven't turned on yet. It's 10 minutes after sunset. I mean...
Now he's a criminal.
Well, he did much better than I did. There was one time I got pulled over, and I felt the same thing. I was like, this officer is just pissed at me. So when he came up, I promise you, he had residue on his mouth from something he had just eaten. So he came up and he was so nasty. He was like, you didn't use your blinker. I'm pulling you over because you didn't use your blinker. And I was like, I think you just have a little donut right here, though.
Did you say donut? Did you say donut?
I did. Yeah, because
Danae Hughes.
Don't know if you remember this about me. I used to be an asshole.
I will either need a bathroom break now or in an hour. Do it now? Okay.
Yeah, just go
for
it.
I'll be back.
Right now. No.
You're not breaking up
in your seat. Oh.
So you're not breaking up the flow.
Yeah. We should go pee too. You want to make ourselves go pee? Let's do it.
I did right before, but you go for it.
Should I actually just do it in my seat, Jonathan?
I would prefer not, but that's your house. So you do what you need to do.
I saw this meme and it was this person that was like looking in disgust. Oh, Jonathan.
Yes.
You shouldn't listen to this.
I don't care. I mean, I'll live.
Okay. So they're looking in disgust in their toilet at a poop.
Uh-huh.
And the poop looks up at him and says, "You liked me when I was cake." And I was like this.
Would you like to hear more listener BTS bingo suggestions before we get into the show?
Yeah.
This is from Jay Fritz, who sends us a list for the BTS bingo I wrote down while listening to this week's episode. I hope you like them, or at least some of them. Also, English is not my first language. Keep up the good work and fun shenanigans.
He's writing well.
Yeah. So BTS bingo items, and then parentheses, or drinking game suggestions. Aaron's Go ahead.
It's just at this point it has to be bingo because
there's way too many.
There's so many livers at stake at this point.
Alcohol poisoning would be too much of a guarantee.
We care about your liver, people.
Aaron talks about being a super taster. Danae didn't watch something, which we know is already on the bingo board.
Yeah.
A one-word answer from Jonathan.
That's a good one.
Jonathan makes an extremely agreeable point and follows it by stating that it might just be him. Danae hates the show.
Yeah. I definitely do that.
Danae delays the start of the podcast. Jonathan delays the start of the podcast. Innuendo gets its own box. That's a guarantee. That's
Innuendo.
That's like a guarantee.
Oh.
Aaron explains a pun. Puppy talk.
Oh, the puppers. Oh.
Sincere talk makes listener want to be a better person.
Who needs that?
Like a moral gut check.
Right. Yeah.
Like morality. Yeah.
No, I hear you, man. Aaron makes me feel like a lesser person every week.
Listen, that is not the point. It's about my own struggles. So let's see. First sex joke made by Aaron. First sex joke made by Danae. First sex joke made by Jonathan. So those all can be separate boxes. And you can only get one of those.
This bingo card is intense.
Yeah. In the center Joker square, the pod was totally worthwhile and or funny, entertaining, or moving, because it always is.
That's cool.
My wife/husband is mentioned.
My wife.
Kid talk. Aaron didn't like something but tries to be fair to it.
Yes. God, we are predictable. Are we? I mean,
the only one I didn't know I gave a lot of one-word answers. That's the only one that's funny to me.
I'm just saying. Like, hearing these is it's an interesting thing to reflect on, and it makes me go, God, I'm so thankful that you guys enjoy the show, even though clearly we are just robotically predictable.